Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is WireDogSec, back with another video for you guys. Today's video, we are in TryHackMe. This is the introduction to EDR room. It says learn the fundamentals of EDR and explore its features and working. And let's see what they're talking about here. Introduction, Endpoint Detection Response. EDR is a security solution designed to monitor, detect, and respond to advanced threats at the endpoint level. As a SOC analyst, it is essential for you to understand how the EDR works, since it is a widely adopted solution in organizations to protect their endpoints. In this room, we will see how an EDR differs from a traditional antivirus and what data it collects from the endpoints. We will also discuss the detection response capabilities it provides, learning objectives, understand the basics of EDR and how it works, differentiate EDR from traditional antivirus solutions, examine the architecture of an EDR solution, analyze the types of telemetry it collects from endpoints, understand the detection and response capabilities of an EDR, investigate a realistic alert in the EDR, room prerequisites, basic knowledge of different endpoints, Windows, Linux, Mac, and the common attacks on them, awareness of the role of the SOC team. And we are done, ready to go to the next step. But before we dive into it, if you want to help support the channel, be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell as soon as I upload to the channel. And also, one thing to take note of is to check the description box for any additional resources here. Here is a website here that does different comparisons for different EDR tools and gives you the telemetry breakdown and whatnot. So if you take a look at this one for Windows here, you can see different scorings and whatnot, the features they have, offers they have. So something that can help you out if you're out there looking for a new EDR tool, or you're trying to compare and contrast the ones out there, their effectiveness, what kinds of features they offer and whatnot. But I will have the link to this website here in the description box if anyone is interested. Task 2. What is an EDR? The increase in the use of digital devices is undeniable. Most of the business's core functions rely on the use of these digital devices. Cyber threats, on the other hand, are also increasing day by day. To protect these devices, organizations implement several security measures, most of which are to protect the network on which they operate these digital devices. However, the fast adoption of remote work has exposed these devices as they are out of the perimeter protection deployed on the organization's network. To ensure these endpoint devices are protected even out of the network, we need a security solution that guards all devices in different areas and is capable of fighting advanced threats. Endpoint Detection Response, EDR, is a security solution that offers deep level protection for endpoints. No matter where the endpoints are, the EDR will make sure they are monitored constantly and threats are detected. Below are some of the EDR solutions in the market. CrowdStrike Falcon, very well known. This is very good EDR tool. This is probably the best one I've ever used in my career, honestly. SentinelOne, Active EDR. SentinelOne's also good. I've used that in the past. Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. This has gotten better over the years. I heard that Microsoft Defender is pretty good these days. I haven't used it in a while. Open EDR. I don't think I've tested that one out. Symantec EDR. I have not used the EDR, but I've used their antivirus years ago. Several other EDR solutions are available in the market. Their underlying architecture is mostly similar, but the features may vary. Let's take a look at the core features of an EDR. We will be using the screenshots from CrowdStrike Falcon EDR to demonstrate the core features of EDR. Another well-known EDR out there is the one by Palo Alto. It's called Cortex, I think XDR or something like that. But anyway, you should go and look that up. Features of EDR. There are three main features of an EDR, which can also be referred to as the three pillars of an EDR solution. So we have a fancy little image here. We got visibility, detection, and response. So let's see what they say. The screenshots used in the task were taken from CrowdStrike EDR when the room was created. Okay. Visibility. A good analysis often depends on the availability or the available level of visibility of the activity. This is one of the features of EDR that makes it unique from other endpoint security solutions. The level of visibility EDR provides is impressive. It collects detailed data from the endpoints, which includes process modifications, registry modifications, file and folder modifications, user actions, and much more. It then presents this information in a very structured format to the analyst. The analyst can see the whole process tree with a complete activity timeline of the sequence of actions. The analyst can also access the historical data of any endpoint for threat hunting or any other purpose. Any detections in the EDR land with a whole context. So we have process modifications, etc., etc., etc. The following screenshots shows graphical representation of a process tree. We can see which processes will respond on the endpoint. Each node represents a process. The lines connecting them represents the relationship. If we click the plus icon given with each process, we will be able to see all the network connections, registry changes, file changes, etc. associated with that process. And this is exactly how CrowdStrike looks if you ever used this tool before. It's got various different tabs here that you can look at for this activity. So you got the process table, you got the details that tells you information about why the alert was triggered and things of that nature. Other details are also in there. You got the process table. It has like a different like layout of this here. So same thing with the process graph and events timeline. I'm pretty sure all these have the same information. It's just a different like layout. So pick one that works for you or the one you like the best. Along with the process trees, there are many other features available in EDRs which maximize the visibility, detection. The detection feature of EDR wins over traditional detection capabilities. It incorporates signature-based detections as well as behavior-based detections, such as unexpected user activities. With modern machine learning capabilities, it identifies any deviation from the baseline behavior and instantly flags it. That's true. It can also detect fileless malware that resides in memory. It also allows us to feed custom IOCs for threat detections. Yes, there's various different integrations with these tools these days. It's another thing you should be looking at if you're evaluating EDR tools. Any security tool, you should see how they integrate with your current tooling and whatnot. They need to be able to talk to each other. You'll have less of a headache that way. The following screenshot shows a dashboard of all detections happening on the different endpoints. Each detection is represented by a row with different fields, including the severity of the detection, time, triggering file, hostname, username, and much more. The tactic via technique fields maps the detection to MITRE. Any detection when clicked will show us rich details, which helps a SOC analyst during the analysis. Yes, that's true. That's very helpful there. So this is the visual representation as they were talking about. So we got the severity, we got the time, the process, tactic, right, from MITRE and whatnot. You have the command line stuff that's going to be in there. And this one down here has the triggering file, host name, other things there. You can also drill down into these as well, so you can figure out more information about what's going on. Response. EDR also empowers analysts to take action on detected threats. These actions can be taken at any endpoint within the central EDR console. Imagine getting a detection on the EDR with full-fledged details on when, where, and what happened. And you have to opt for the best possible action for that detection. As an analyst, you may decide to isolate a complete endpoint, terminate a process, or quarantine some files. You can also connect to the machine remotely and execute actions independently. And this is an awesome feature here. Remote connection to those machines. It is a time saver. You can do this all from within the EDR console. The following screenshot shows the actions available that can be taken on the host after connecting to it. Okay, so once again, this is what CrowdStrike looks like. Palo Alto has this as well. I'm pretty sure SentinelOne has this as well. This kind of remote shell or what have you. Have a different name for it, like Falcon real-time response is what CrowdStrike calls it. But anyway, so this is a remote connection to the endpoint, okay? And you can run different scripts. You can create your own scripts on here. You can do all kinds of fancy things with this EDR. All right, as you can see there. And it's kind of like a semi terminal or semi shell. It's got some terminal commands here that you would commonly see on like Windows or Linux, but it's not like the full thing. So if you try to run some commands that aren't listed here, it probably will not work. But it does have quite a few commands that you can use and make use of as you're investigating machines and whatnot. There are several other actions that the analyst can take during the investigation. Note in task number 6, we'll be covering the detection response capabilities of an EDR in more detail. With advanced visibility, detection, response, EDR becomes a very powerful tool. However, it's also important to remember that an EDR is a host-only security solution and does not detect network-level threats. Okay, good to know there. Which feature of EDR provides a complete context for all the detections, and which process spawned sc.xe? So I guess we have to look at those screenshots and see if we can find this out here. So let's try to do that. Hey everybody, this is WireDogSec. Just a quick reminder to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Once you hit the notification bell, be sure to set to all notifications so you know every time I post to the channel, upload a video, all that good stuff. Let's continue to grow our glorious community here. We are in the cyber trenches. We're not just reporting on it. Be sure to check out my channel as well. I have tons of videos that you can see here, over 300 videos ready for you to check out and learn something from. Be sure to review my posts. I'm frequently posting new things to my channel here, including jobs and everything related to that. Also, I have tons of playlists here that you can review, make it more convenient for you. Anyway, happy defending, happy hacking, enjoy the video. All right, let's see here. The first one's going to be visibility. Remember they talked about those different features up here, visibility, detection, and response, and we read about visibility here. So that's going to give us that information, those additional details and whatnot, okay? And the next one here is which process spawned sc.xe. So if we take a look at one of these screenshots here, I believe it's this one, we can see that cmd.xe spawned sc.xe. All right, so we go there. So next one is going to be task number 3, beyond the antivirus. Before we proceed to how behind the EDR is working, let's answer a very common question that comes to mind when we hear about the EDR solution. Why do we need an EDR when we already have antivirus or AV on the endpoints? Both of these security solutions have the same motive of protecting the endpoint on which they are installed. However, both differ in the level of protection they provide. Let's assume an airport is an endpoint that needs protection. One layer of protection is to check the passports of people when they pass through immigration. The immigration check, AV, monitors incoming people and matches their passports with a list of known criminals in its database. If there's a match, the entry is blocked and caught. Sounds like a smart protection, right? But what happens if somebody who has never been identified as a criminal in the past and has an innocent personality tries to come in? The immigration check will let them in. Now, what if this innocent person were a professional thief trained to evade basic security? The airport has an undetected threat inside. This is where EDR comes in. And EDR is the analogy EDR in this analogy would be the security officers stationed inside the airport endpoint. These security officers would constantly monitor the security cameras and monitor or motion sensors in the airport endpoint. Compared to the immigration check, AV, the security officers EDR enhance the protection of the airport endpoint through CCTV monitoring and motion sensors. Even if somebody manages to evade the immigration check, these security officers will constantly be monitoring their actions, such as, are they roaming close to restricted areas? Is their behavior suspicious? Are they leaving their bags somewhere unattended? The security officers can also take action if something does not feel right to them, or alert the airport management with complete details of what happened. The AV may detect some basic threats, but to detect advanced threats that evade normal detections, we need an EDR. Unlike antivirus software's basic signature-based detection, it monitors and records the behaviors of the endpoint, and EDR also provides organization-wide visibility of any activity. For example, if a suspicious file is detected on one endpoint, the EDR will also check it across all other endpoints. Let's examine an advanced malicious activity step by step on an endpoint and compare the response of an AV and EDR at each stage. Okay, scenario breakdown. So step 1, a user receives a phishing email with a Word document enabled with a malicious macro VBA script. 2, the user downloads the document and opens it. 3, the malicious macro is silently executed and spawns PowerShell. 4, the malicious macro runs an obfuscated PowerShell command to download a sophisticated second stage payload. 5, the payload is injected into a legitimate service host.exe. 6, the attacker gains remote access to the system. So here's a image of what that would look like here. So you got the Word doc, macro execution, PowerShell. EV said it looks clean. ER triggered an alert for it. Second stage payload and remote access there. So EV said it was clean. EDR did not. They have a table here. You got action steps, AV's response, EDR response. Step 1 does nothing if the downloaded file has no previous signature in the database. EDR's response logs the file download activity and monitors it. Number 2 does nothing upon the opening of the document, since Word.exe is a legitimate utility, while EDR records the execution of Word or when Word.exe and keeps monitoring. 3, AV does nothing if the executed macro has no previous signature. EDR detects and flags the macro execution due to the unusual parent-child relationship when Word.exe and PowerShell.exe processes. 4, typically AVs will not detect obfuscated PowerShell scripts, and then EDR flags the obfuscated script execution. 5, AV will not flag malicious injection into SVC host since it does not monitor the memory injections. EDR detects process injection in SVC host.exe. Number 6, AV lacks network level visibility. EDR flags the unexpected behavior of SVC host, making an outbound connection. And then final action here for AV may be marked as clean, and then EDR generates an alert with the full attack chain and enables the analyst to take actions within EDR. Awesome. So basically, I mean, AV is like, or EDR is like, AV on like steroids or something. Some modern AVs may have more enhanced visibility and detection. However, an EDR is ahead as it levels up the detection response in an endpoint. Sweet. So we got some more questions here. Let's take a look here. In the given analogy, what presents an AV Next one, which legitimate process was hijacked by the attacker in the scenario? And then the last one, which security solution might mark this activity as clean? Okay, and let's see here. All right, so let's see if we can answer these real quick. Let's take a look at these questions and they give an analogy what represents an AV or antivirus. Remember, they were talking about the airport stuff up here, and they're talking about immigration check. And here it says compared to the immigration check, which is AV, security officers, EDR, and the endpoint's going to be airport. So there's our answer there. Next one, which legitimate process was hijacked by the attackers in these scenarios? So if we go back up, we're talking about the scenario breakdown here. You can see that step 5, the payload is injected into a legitimate SVC host.exe. Which security solution might mark this activity as clean? Well, we know that antivirus would mark as clean, okay, whereas EDR would flag the activity. Task 4, how an EDR works. In the previous task, we saw how powerful an EDR is for an endpoint. However, do you know how does an EDR manage to provide this much visibility of the endpoints? How can it detect advanced threats? How can a few clicks eradicate the threat from an endpoint? This seems like magic. Let's try to understand it in a very simple way. So we have various different EDR agents installed on these endpoints here, and here's the EDR centralized console where you can go in and take a look at all the information gathered there, events, alerts, things of that nature. So let's talk about agents. We can integrate multiple endpoints with our EDR and manage them through a centralized console. There are EDR agents that we have deployed inside those endpoints. These agents are also sometimes referred to as sensors. They are the eyes and ears of the EDR. Their job is to sit at the endpoint and monitor all the activities. The information about these activities is sent in detail to the EDR central console in real time. The EDR agents can do some basic signature-based and behavior-based detections by themselves and send them to the EDR console, which triggers alerts. EDR console. All the detailed data sent by the EDR agents is correlated and analyzed through complex logic and machine learning algorithms. The threat intelligence information is matched with the collected data. The EDR is just like the brain, connecting all the dots. These dots connect to form a detection, often called an alert. The following screenshot shows the dashboard of an EDR console. All the data from the endpoint agents is coming into this console, and the detections are happening here. This dashboard gives a holistic view of the current status of detections in all the endpoints. So here's this fancy little dashboard, and you got various different items here that you can take a look at, a little snapshot of your environment out there. Okay, and obviously this is CrowdStrike, as mentioned before. We're looking at CrowdStrike here. What happens after detection? When a detection comes, it's a SOC analyst's responsibility to acknowledge the alert and prioritize it. The prioritization is made easy by the EDR itself. It gives severities to all the alerts: critical, high, medium, low, informational. The alert with the highest severity is investigated as a priority. For the investigation, once the alert is clicked, the analyst can see all the details of the detection. This includes any files executed, processes executed, network connection attempts, registry modifications, and much more. Based on the available data, the analyst's job is first to use their expertise to determine if the alert is a false positive or a true positive. In case of a true positive, the analyst can take actions from within the EDR console. Okay, so one thing to take into consideration about the EDR tools, you need to figure out how much data or information that they're storing, right? Some of them only store like 7 days worth of like alert data or whatever. So you need to make sure to double check with the vendor to see if that can be increased and whatnot. If not, then make sure you're sending all this information out to your SIEM tool to collect that, which you should be doing anyway. EDR with other tools. As a SOC analyst, it is essential to understand that although a standalone EDR provides enough information to detect and respond to threats in an endpoint, it works alongside other security solutions to form a larger security ecosystem. Within a network, you will see firewalls, DLPs, email security gateways, IAMs, EDRs, and other security solutions protecting the different components of the network. To minimize the effort and maximize the efficacy, all these security solutions are integrated with a SIEM solution that becomes the central point of investigation for the analyst. We will also discuss the SIEM solution in detail to upcoming rooms of this module, right? As I just stated about sending all your information to your SIEM, okay? Question time. Which component of the EDR is responsible for collecting telemetry from endpoints? And then an EDR agent is known as a, they said sensor. So we can go ahead and type that one in here. And we need to find out what's responsible for collecting telemetry here. It should be agents for that one. Okay, so we're done with that, and let's go to task number 5 here, EDR telemetry. What is telemetry? In the previous task, we learned about EDR agents, which collect different data from their endpoints and push it to EDR console. This data is known as telemetry. Telemetry is the black box of an endpoint with everything necessary for detection, investigation. Collected telemetry, usually many activities are going on in the endpoints, most of which are legitimate. It is often difficult to differentiate between regular and malicious activity. The more data is collected, the better judgments can be made. EDR collects detailed telemetry from the endpoints. Let's take a brief look at some of the telemetry that it collects. So there it is, collecting the telemetry from the different agents out here, sending it to that centralized console there. Process execution and terminations. It keeps track of all running and idle processes, which helps to identify suspicious child-parent process relationships, suspicious executable initiating a process, malware, payload, etc. Network connections. All the endpoints network connections are monitored, which helps identify any connection to a C2 server. Unusual port usage, data exfiltration, and lateral movement within the network. So that is very good to know there. Command line activity. It captures all the commands executed on the endpoints in CMD, PowerShell, etc., which helps to identify malicious command executions, obfuscated PowerShell script executions, which are often missed by a traditional antivirus, and that comes in handy. Files and folder modifications. Threat actors modify different files and folders during the data staging, ransomware execution, and malicious file dropping. The EDR tracks all of this. Registry modifications. The registry is a goldmine information about the configurations in a Windows system. There are many registry modifications that occur during a malicious activity, and most of these are monitored by the EDR. Good to know there. EDR collects much more than this data from an endpoint. It uses complex logic and machine learning algorithms to assess the activities. Advanced threats keep most of their activities stealthy, using legitimate utilities during execution. Individually, their activities may seem harmless, but when observed through detailed telemetry, they tell a different story. This detailed telemetry not only helps the EDR detect advanced threats and make better judgments on the legitimacy of the activities, but it also very helpful for the analysts during the investigations. The analysts can understand the full chain of events, identify the root cause, and reconstruct the attack timeline. That's very true. Like I said, CrowdStrike is awesome. It works great when dealing with investigations, things of that nature. Okay. Question time. Which telemetry data helps in detecting C2 communications? And that should be the network communications. So we're going to grab that real quick here. Where are the configuration settings of a Windows system primarily stored? And that's going to be in the registry. It should. So we're going to play that as our answer there. And let's go on to the next task here. Task number 6, detection and response capabilities. In this task, we will discuss the advanced detection techniques and the response mechanisms of an EDR. Okay, so let's take a look at detection. Based on the telemetry received from the endpoints, some advanced detection techniques are applied to this data. Some of these techniques include the following. So you have behavioral detection. Instead of just matching the signatures with known threats, it observes the complete behavior of the file. Advanced threats craft their malware to look clean and use legitimate processes to carry out their attack. EDR catches this behavior. Example, a process when word.exe spawning PowerShell.exe will be flagged by EDR due to the behavior. A Word document spawning a PowerShell is an unusual parent-child relationship. Anomaly detection. With time, EDR understands the baseline behavior of the endpoints. Any activity that deviates from this behavior will be flagged. During any malicious activity, the endpoint's behavior deviates from normal. EDR picks it up. Sometimes this can generate false positives as well. That's definitely true. However, with the full context it gives, the analyst can identify its legitimacy. Example, on one of the endpoints, a process modifies an auto start registry key, which is not a common behavior of the endpoint. Okay. IOC matching. EDRs have some strong threat intelligence field integrations, except for zero-day attacks. Most of the attacks have indicators published in the threat intelligence feeds. EDR flags any activity that matches any known IOC. Example, a user downloads a file that drops an executable. The executable is often used in a specific attack. The hash of this executable will get matched with the threat intelligence feed and instantly flagged by the EDR. MITRE attack mapping, we briefly talked about that earlier. Any activity flagged by EDR is not only marked as malicious or suspicious, but also mapped with MITRE tactic and technique attack stage that the particular activity was on. This proves to be very helpful for the analyst. Example, if the EDR flags the creation of a scheduled task for any reason, it will likely map this activity to the following: tactic persistence and technique scheduled job slash or scheduled task slash job. Machine learning algorithms. Advanced threat actors try to evade defenses as much as possible, and their activities may sometimes bypass advanced detection techniques. Modern EDRs have machine learning models trained by a large data set of normal and malicious behaviors. This can detect complex patterns of an attack. Example, attacks in which the individual actions are not inherently malicious, but the machine learning algorithm identifies the whole chain of activities as malicious. Fileless attacks and multi-staged intrusions are often detected through this. Yes, that's absolutely true. Response. The next step after any detection is the response. EDR offers both automated and manual responses. You can make policies to block known malicious behaviors automatically. However, manual response gives you a wide range of response capabilities. Let's discuss some of them. Now, you have to be really careful with this, okay? Especially the automated stuff here. You probably don't want to just go out there and just, isolate a domain controller or something, right? You might want to look at the system, get permission to do so before you start isolating machines, and then you can cause all kinds of outages and whatnot. But it depends on your standard operating procedures, so follow best practices and whatever policies and procedures your company has in place. It's going to differ by organization. Isolate hosts. During any malicious activity on an endpoint, you can isolate the endpoint from the network through EDR. This is a very effective function for containing malicious activity. Most attacks start from a single endpoint and move laterally to other endpoints to compromise the whole network. Isolating the infected endpoint on time can stop this from happening. Yes, this works like a charm with a lot of these tools out here. CrowdStrike, you can isolate the host, and then that host can only communicate back to like the CrowdStrike systems itself or whatever exceptions you may have in place there. Terminate process. Not every malicious activity requires host isolation. Some hosts run the core business operations, and isolating them can cause more or less can cause more loss than malicious activity, right? As I just said, in such cases, terminating a process is enough to neutralize the activity. The analysts get this option in the EDR. They can terminate any process at any time. This action should be taken consciously, since terminating a legitimate process can disrupt the endpoint. That's correct. Quarantine. If a malicious file comes into the endpoint, it can be quarantined. Quarantine ensures that the file is moved to an isolated location where it cannot be executed. The analyst can review the file to restore or permanently remove it. Remote access. Analysts can also remotely access the shell of any endpoint. This is often done with the EDR's built-in response. It's not enough to take action on a specific activity, though through remote access, analysts can gain deeper visibility into the system or take custom actions within the endpoints. The analyst can also run scripts or collect their desired data from the host through remote access. Below is an example of CrowdStrike Falcon's EDR, RTR, remote time response. Console, which allows analysts to remotely access the shell of any endpoint and run commands and scripts. Like I said, this is like the CrowdStrike's version of the shell, or a limited version of the shell. So you can only pretty much use these commands here, but you can run scripts out of here, which would use the commands native to the operating system. Okay, so it comes in handy. And also, CrowdStrike has a bunch of canned scripts that you can use and modify at whatever you want to do with them. Artifacts collection. Sometimes the analyst may need to extract some data from the endpoints for detailed forensic investigations or reporting for legal actions. Analysts can extract important artifacts from the endpoints without physically accessing the device. The most commonly extracted artifacts include memory dump, event logs, specific folder contents, and red archives. The detection response capabilities of EDR solutions differ from those of traditional endpoint protection solutions. Modern EDRs are introducing more advanced detection techniques. Also, I'm pretty sure they're going to be integrating AI into these EDR tools if they haven't done so already, whether that be in the agents themselves or maybe in the console to help you investigate things or whatever. But anyway, so let's take a look at this question here. Which feature of the EDR helps you identify threats based on known malicious behaviors? Well, that's going to be IOC matching. So if we scroll back up here when they're talking about those different detection areas here, we have IOC matching that describes that here. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue on with task number 7, investigate and alert on EDR. And let's see what they're talking about here. Scenario, you are a SOC analyst at Tech THM with access to the EDR console, having multiple medium and high severity detections. Your task is to perform triage on each detection using the available information in the EDR and answer a series of questions related to these detections. Click on the View Site button below to display the static site on the right side. So let's go ahead and just do that here. It says alternatively, you can click on the EDR dashboard in the URL section to display the static site in full screen. We might be good with just this here. We'll take a look here shortly. Note, acknowledgement and actions on the detections are outside the scope of this room. The focus would be solely on understanding the visibility of the detections available in the EDR suite. Okay, so now we know what to do here. We got a few questions to answer, so go ahead and pause the video and try to answer the questions yourself, then come back and we'll step through it together. Let's take a look here. Which tool was launched by cmd.exe to download the payload on desktop HR01? So let's flip over here, EDR dashboard and recent detections. We can see this first one here. It mentions the machine in question. So let's click on this and you can see additional information here. The user, host, timestamp, severity, and a summary of the activity. So Office or macro enable Office document invoice.docm, open using WinWord, triggered CMD, which launched curl. Okay, so you go to process info here and you can see the process chain here, and it looks like curl.exe was launched by cmd.exe, right? So let's go ahead and plug that in as our answer there. What is the absolute path to the downloaded malware on desktop HR01 machine? Okay, so let's see here. Well, let's see if anything appears here. Okay, there we go. This is probably going to be it here because we already know the invoice one is the maldoc in question. So let's see. And okay. Oh. All right. Maybe they're looking for this one. Install the XE. Let's see here. Get rid of that. All right. What is the absolute path to the suspicious sync svc.exe on WinEng laptop 03 machine? So that's probably in a different detection here. Okay, there's that. And let's look at this here. All right, so we're back on process info here. We can see explorer.exe. We see additional information here. Now if you click down here on this sync service.exe, we can see the network activity section down here, and it says attempted to exfil to here. All right, and it says blocked by EDR down there. So don't forget that when you're looking at these alerts, you can see what EDR did. So it says blocked by EDR, so it did its job there. We're going to plug this URL in here as our answer. What was the update agent.exe labeled by threat intel on desktop dev01? So we're back over here in the dashboard here, and here's our desktop dev01. Okay, so as we're scrolling through here, we have all this information here, summary and whatnot. So let's check out process info. There's update agent here, and let's see what it flagged this as here, and it says threat intel known internal IT utility tool. Okay, so let's do that, and we're done with that. Conclusion. Congratulations, we have learned one of the essential tools used in Security Operations Center, SOC, Endpoint Detection and Response, EDR. As a SOC analyst, we now understand the basic architecture of EDR and its capabilities beyond antivirus. We explored the detailed telemetry that an EDR provides. We also saw the powerful detection and response capabilities of EDR solutions. Lastly, we practiced investigating some detections on a simulated EDR. This sets a strong baseline for working with essential security solutions. In the upcoming rooms of this module, we will explore some other security solutions that a SOC analyst works on in a SOC. Okay, so we are done with this room here. Awesome. Hopefully y'all enjoyed this video. Hopefully you got some good information. Like I said, check the description area of this video for additional resources to expand your knowledge and skills in this particular area. But if you enjoyed the video and you want to help support the channel, be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you know every time I upload to the channel. Have a nice day, and I will see you in the next one. Hey everybody, this is WireDogSec. Just a quick reminder to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Once you hit the notification bell, be sure to set to all notifications so you know every time I post to the channel, upload a video, all that good stuff. Let's continue to grow our glorious community here. We are in the cyber trenches. We're not just reporting on it. Be sure to check out my channel as well. I have tons of videos that you can see here, over 300 videos ready for you to check out and learn something from. Be sure to review my posts. I'm frequently posting new things to my channel here, including jobs and everything related to that. Also, I have tons of playlists here that you can review, make it more convenient for you. Anyway, happy defending, happy hacking, enjoy the video. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is WireDogSec back with another video for you guys. Today's video, we are doing TryHackMe. This is the Cybersecurity 101 learning path, Security Solutions Module, Introduction to SIEM, and Introduction to Security Information and Event Management. Hopefully you're all having an awesome day today and ready to learn. Let's go ahead and dive into it. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Be sure to hit the like button, comment, and subscribe. Once you subscribe, be sure to hit that notification bell. All right, so you know every time I post a new video. As you can see here, most people that view my videos, view my channel, are not subscribed. Now, if you do subscribe, it will help me get into the YouTube algorithm so that we can continue to grow our glorious community here. As always, thank you all for taking the time to watch. Have a nice day and enjoy the video. Task 1, Introduction. What is SIEM? SIEM stands for Security Information and Event Management System. It is a tool that collects data from various endpoints, network devices across the network, stores them at a centralized place, and performs correlation on them. This room will cover the basic concepts required to understand SIEM and how it works, learning objectives. Some of the learning objectives covered in this room are: what is SIEM and how does it work? Why is SIEM needed? What is network visibility? What are log sources and how is log ingestion done? What are the capabilities a SIEM provides? What does SIEM stand for? Well, we see up here that stands for Security Information and Event Management. And a SIEM will probably be one of the most important tools that you will utilize when you are involved in the SOC environments or maybe even the incident response environment. All right, task number 2, network visibility through SIEM. Before explaining the importance of SIEM, let's first understand why it is critical to have better visibility of all the activities within a network. The image below shows an example of a simple network that comprises multiple Linux Windows-based endpoints, one data center, and one website. Each component communicates with the other and accesses the internet through a router. You can see in this graphic here what they are talking about. All right. It says that you have the internet, everything going through the router here, right? And then from there, you have various different sources that it goes to. So go into data center, Linux workstations, Windows workstations, web server. All right, let's see. As we know, each network component can have one or more log sources generating different logs. One example could be setting up sysmon along with Windows event logs to have better visibility on Windows endpoint. We can divide our network log sources into two logical parts. Number one, host-centric log sources. These are log sources that capture events that occurred within a related to the host. Some log sources that generate host-centric logs are Windows event logs, sysmon, OS query, etc. Some event or examples of host-centric logs are a user accessing a file, a user attempting to authenticate, a process execution activity, a process adding, editing, deleting a registry value or key value. PowerShell execution. Number two, network-centric log sources. Network-related log sources are generated when the hosts communicate with each other or access the internet to visit a website. Some network-based protocols are SSH, VPN, HTTPS, HTTP, FTP, etc. Some examples such events are SSH connections, a file being accessed via FTP, web traffic, a user accessing company's resources through VPN, network file sharing activity. Importance of SIEM. Now that we have covered various types of logs, it's time to understand the importance of SIEM. As all these devices generate hundreds of events per second, examining the IMG logs, image logs on each device one by one in case of any incident can be a tedious task. That is one of the advantages of having a SIEM solution in place. It not only takes logs from various sources in real time, but also provides the ability to correlate between events, searching through the logs, investigate incidents, and respond promptly. Some key features provided by the SIEM are the following: real-time log ingestion, alerting against abnormal activities, 24/7 monitoring visibility, protection against the latest threats through early detection, data insights and visualization, ability to investigate past incidents. Okay, and here's another graphic, right, of what they're explaining here. So you have all your logs from various different sources, data sources, right, going into one centralized location, which is the SIEM. And then from in the SIEM, you can go in and conduct correlation searches, set up alerting, stuff like that, like all kinds of logs that are being ingested in the SIEM. All right, question time. Is registry related activity host centric or network centric? That's going to be host centric. Okay, so that's going to be on the Windows box or something like that. Okay. Is VPN related activity host centric or network centric? That's going to be network centric. Okay, because you're making those VPN network connections to another device. Okay, so like SSH connections here. It's talking about a file being accessed via FTP, web traffic, network file sharing, etc., etc. And it says a user accessing company's resources through VPN. Okay, so let's see. Task number 3: log sources and log ingestion. Every device in the network generates some kind of log whenever an activity is performed on it, like a user visiting a website, connecting to SSH, logging into his workstation, etc. Some common devices that are found in the network environment are discussed below. Windows machine. Windows records. Windows records every event that can be viewed through Event Viewer utility. It assigns a unique ID to each type of log activity, making it easy for the analyst to examine and keep track of the view events in a Windows environment. To view events in a Windows environment, type Event Viewer in the search bar, and it takes you to the tool where different logs are stored and can be viewed, as shown below. These logs from all Windows endpoints are forwarded to the SIEM solution for monitoring and better visibility. And this is what they're talking about here. So they're looking at Event Viewer, going through, taking a look at all various different logs in here. Okay, and then they said that this is being sent to their SIEM. Linux Workstation. Linux OS stores all the related logs such as events, errors, warnings, etc., which are then ingested into SIEM for continuous monitoring. Some of the common locations where Linux store logs are var log, HTTPD, log cron, log auth, log kern. Be sure to read through this all the way and understand where these logs are and what the description are of these logs. Here's a sample of a cron log here. Okay, so review this. Web server. It is important to keep an eye on all requests and responses coming in and out of the web server for any potential web attack attempt. In Linux, common locations to write all Apache related logs are varlog Apache or varlog HTTPD. All right. Here's an example of Apache logs. This is what it looks like here. So you have IP addresses, you got the date or the timestamps here. You have the request, so the get requests, and you have the location, etc., etc. So a lot of good information in these logs. So make sure you are properly logging and sending those logs to a SIEM. Log ingestion. All these logs provide a wealth of information and can help in identifying security issues. Each SIEM solution has its own way of ingesting the logs. Some common methods used by these SIEM solutions are explained below. Number 1, agent or forwarder. These SIEM solutions provide a lightweight tool called an agent forwarder by Splunk that gets installed in the endpoint. It is configured to capture all the important logs and send them to the SIEM server. Number 2, syslog. Syslog is a widely used protocol to collect data from various systems like web servers, databases, etc. It says they are sent real time to the centralized destination through manual upload. Some SIEM solutions like Splunk, ELK, etc. allow users to ingest offline data for quick analysis. Once the data is ingested, it is normalized and made available for analysis. 4, port forwarding. SIEM solutions can also be configured to listen on a certain port, and then the endpoints forward the data to the SIEM instance on the listening port. Okay, and you can see various different sources again. All these logs are being sent to the SIEM for the centralized location. An example of how Splunk provides various methods for log ingestion is shown below. So there's various different ways you can do: upload, monitor, forwarder. All right. Question time. In which location within a Linux environment are HTTP logs stored? And we know that's going to be a var log HTTPD, as discussed up above here. All right. This contains HTTP request slash response and error logs. All right. And now let's continue to the next task. Task 4, why SIEM? SIEM is used to provide correlation, only collect that data to detect threats. Once a threat is detected or a certain threshold is crossed, an alert is raised. This alert enables the analyst to take suitable actions based on the investigation. SIEM plays an important role in the cybersecurity domain and helps detect and protect against the latest threats in a timely manner. It provides good visibility of what's happening within the network infrastructure. SIEM capabilities. SIEM is one major component of the Security Operations Center (SOC) ecosystem. As illustrated below, SIEM starts by collecting logs and examining if any event slash flow has matched the conditions set in the rule or crossed a certain threshold. Some of the common capabilities of SIEM are correlation between events from the different log sources, provide visibility on both host-centric and network-centric activities, allow analysts to investigate the latest threats and timely responses, hunt for threats that are not detected by the rules in place. And here is a graphic of what they're talking about here. All right, so ticketing, log collection, knowledge base, research and development, aggregation and correlation, threat intelligence, SIM, reporting. Okay, that encompasses of the SOC here. SOC analyst responsibilities. SOC analysts utilize SIM solutions in order to have better visibility of what is happening with the network. Some of their responsibilities include monitoring and investigating, identifying false positives, tuning rules which are causing the noise or false positives, reporting and compliance, identifying blind spots in the network visibility and covering them. Okay, read the task above. Done. Task 5, analyzing logs and alerts. SIM tool gets all the security related logs ingested through agents, port forwarding, etc. Once the logs are ingested, SIM looks for unwanted behavior or suspicious patterns within the logs with the help of conditions set in the rules by the analyst. If the condition is met, a rule gets triggered and the investigation or the incident is investigated. Dashboard. Dashboards are the most important components of any SIM. SIM um, presents the data for analysts after being normalized and adjusted. The summary of these analysis analyses is presented in the form of actionable insights with the help of multiple dashboards. Each SIM solution comes with some default dashboards and provides an option for custom dashboard creation. Some of the information that can be found in dashboards are alert highlights, system notification, health alert, list of failed login attempts, events ingested, count, rules triggered, top domains visited. Also, if they have canned domains or template domains, you can use that and just copy from that to create a custom dashboard for what you need. Not domains, dashboards. If they have a template dashboard or a canned dashboard, then you can copy that and create a custom dashboard from that. Um, an example of a default dashboard in QRadar SIM is shown below. So just take a look here. And we can see that there's a lot of information that is presented to the analyst that they can easily reference to take a look at anything that seems out of the ordinary, suspicious, what have you. Correlation rules. Correlation rules play an important role in the timely detection of threats, allowing analysts to take action on time. Correlation rules are pretty much logical expressions set to be triggered. A few examples of correlation rules are: if a user gets 5 failed login attempts in 10 seconds, raise an alert for multiple failed login attempts. If login is successful after multiple failed login attempts, raise an alert for successful login after multiple login attempts. A rule is set to alert every time a user plugs in a USB, useful if USB is restricted as per the company policy. If outbound traffic is greater than 25 megabytes, raise an alert to potential data exfiltration attempt. Usually it depends on the company policy. How a correlation rule is created. To explain how the rule works, consider the following event log use cases. Use case 1, adversaries tend to remove the logs during a post-exploitation phase to remove their tracks. A unique event ID 104 is logged every time a user tries to remove or clear event logs. To create a rule based on this activity, we can set the condition as follows. Rule: if the log source is when event log and event ID is 104, Trigger an alert, event log cleared. Case 2, adversaries use commands like who am I after exploiting or doing privilege escalation phase. The following fields will be helpful to include in the rule: log source, identify the log source capturing the event logs, event ID, which event ID associated with the process execution activity. In this case, event ID 4688 will be helpful. New process name, which process name will be helpful to include in this rule. Rule: if the log source and when event log and event code is 4688 and new process name contains who am I, then trigger an alert, who am I command execution detected. In the previous task, the importance of filled value pairs are discussed. Correlation rules: keep an eye on the values of certain fields to get triggered. That is the reason why it is important to have normalized log suggested. Alert investigation. When monitoring SIEM, analysts spend most of their time on dashboards as it displays various key details about the network in a very summarized way. Once an alert is triggered, the events/flows associated with the alert examined and the rule is checked to see which conditions are met. Based on the investigation, the analyst determines if it's a true or false positive. Some of the actions that are performed after the analysis are: alert is false alarm. It may require tuning the rule to avoid similar false positives from occurring again. Alert is true positive. Perform further investigation. Contact the asset owner to inquire about the activity. Suspicious activity is confirmed. Isolate the infected host. Block the suspicious IP. Let's move on to the next task and explore how SIM works. Now, what they mean here by contact the asset owner to inquire about the activity, it means, right, trust but verify. Maybe it looks kind of legitimate, but you need more context about it. So then you would contact the asset owner, system owner, application owner, what have you, to help you and verify the activity. Let's see, which event ID is generated when event logs are removed? That's going to be 104, right? So log cleared 104. And it says what type of alert may require tuning. That's going to be a false alarm or false positive, right? Because you want to weed that out so you can avoid getting those false positives floating up your queue. Okay, task number 6. It says lab work. Click this button here to view the site, which I've already done. In the static lab task, a sample dashboard and events are displayed when a suspicious activity happens. An alert is triggered, which means some events match the condition of some rule already configured. Complete the lag and answer the following questions. So go ahead and try to answer these questions yourself. Then come back to the video and we will continue on. Let's take a look here. And it says click on the start suspicious activity, which process caused the alert. So start activity. And as we look around in here, let's see here, event codes, number of events, process name. Okay. And it says that kudominer.exe is the one that did this. It says potential crypto miner activity observed. Find and click on the triggered event to show details. Okay. So let's go and do that. That's going to be our answer for that first one. Next one says find the event that caused the alert, which user was responsible for the process execution. So just look through the event log to find the event that triggered the alert. So we'll go ahead and find the event. It says scroll right for more information. Okay. So as we're looking in here, we look for that specific event. So we have the process name there. And it says kudominer.exe. Okay. For our process name. And then if we look over here to username, we can see that Chris.Fort is the one who triggered that. So that's your answer for that one. What is the host name of the suspect user? Same thing here. So let's scroll over to the area where it says the host name. If it's in this, let's take a look here. I scrolled past it. Yes, I did. Host name HR02. Examine the rule and the suspicious process. Which term matched the rule that caused the alert? Okay. So let's see. Okay, good work. Now click the button, show the rule that triggered the alert, proceed. Here we go. And if we're looking at this, it says alert, potential crypto miner activity, event ID equals 4688, etc., etc., etc. Okay, so go to analysis and action. And since that did have miner in this, so it says crypto miner XE, that's looks like what it triggered on because it's looking for Event ID equals 4688, log source Windows event logs, right? And then process name equals um, anything that has minor crypt in it. So that's the answer for that one. Next one says, what is the best option that represents this event? Well, that's going to be a true positive. Isolate the host, right? Because it looks like a crypto miner is on that machine. It's infected. So save action. There we go. There's the flag. So we're done with that. Conclusion for task number 7. In this room, we have covered that SIEM, or what SIEM is, its capabilities, and what visibility it provides. To learn in depth and about how incidents are investigated, explore the following rooms and challenges. So you have a bunch of lists out here: Junior SOC Analyst, Splunk 101, Splunk 201, Benign, Investigating with Splunk, Investigating with ELK, Itsy Bitsy. And that's it. Alright, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like button if you're new here, subscribe to the channel with the notification bell so you know every time I post to the channel. Comment below your thoughts and opinions and information shared in the video. Also, if you enjoyed this particular area, I recommend going deeper and digging into SIEM. Maybe even set up a SIEM in your home lab, which you should have, and then start playing around with it so you can familiarize yourself with how SIEMs work. Alright, thank you all for taking time to watch the video. Have a nice day, and I will see you later. Hey everybody, this is WireDogSec. Just a quick reminder to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Once you hit the notification bell, be sure to set to all notifications so you know every time I post to the channel, upload a video, all that good stuff. Let's continue to grow our glorious community here. We are in the cyber trenches. We're not just reporting on it. Be sure to check out my channel as well. I have tons of videos. You can see here over 300 videos ready for you to check out and learn something from. Be sure to review my posts. I'm frequently posting new things to my channel here, including jobs and everything related to that. Also, I have tons of playlists here that you can review, make it more convenient for you. Anyway, happy defending, happy hacking, enjoy the video. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is WireDogSec, back with another video for you guys. Today's video, we are in TryHackMe, SOC Level 1 Learning Path. This is the Security Information and Event Management module. This is Splunk Basics Room. Learn the basics of Splunk. Now, hopefully, you're all having an awesome day today and ready to learn something. Also, be sure to start up the machine to get the Splunk in task number 2. So go ahead and hit that start machine button here, and also you'll need to start the attack box or use the VPN for TryHackMe. So go ahead and start those up and get those ready to roll as we go through this entire room here. Before we get into it, you know what to do. If you want to help support the channel, be sure to like, comment, subscribe with that notification bell if you are new here. Let's go ahead and dive into it. Task 1, Introduction. Splunk is one of the leading SIEM solutions in the market that provides the ability to collect, analyze, and correlate the network and machine logs in real time. In this room, we will explore the basics of Splunk and its functionalities and how it provides better visibility of network activities and help in speeding up the detection. Learning objective and prerequisites. If you're new to SIEM, please complete the Introduction to SIEM room. This room covers the following learning objectives: Splunk overview, Splunk components and how they work, different ways to ingest logs, and normalization of logs. Now, be sure to check out my channel to see if I've done a video over this introduction to SIEM. To see if I already have a video over it. That way you can watch that before you dive into this Splunk room here. Task number 2, connect with the lab. Now, I briefly went over this earlier in this video. So basically, you're going to start the machine, click that button up there, and you need to wait 3 to 5 minutes in order for the machine to spin up. As you can see here, it's not done spinning up in the background. I may need to restart this VM to see what's going on here, but once it's started up, you can connect to it via this URL here. So you got to connect via the VPN with TryHackMe, or you can use the attack box. Now I'm going to go ahead and terminate this and start it over again to see what's going on with it. I'm not sure what's going on. Sometimes these rooms mess up, but we're going to continue on to task number 3 while this spins back up again. Splunk has 3 main components, namely forwarder, indexer, and search head. These components are explained below. So forwarder is a lightweight agent installed on the endpoint intended to be monitored, and its main task is to collect data and send it to the Splunk instance. It does not affect the endpoint's performance as it takes very few resources to process. Some of the key data sources are the following: web server generating web traffic, Windows machine generating Windows event logs, PowerShell and Sysmon data, Linux host generating host-centric logs, database generating database connection requests, responses, and errors. Right. So there you have it. The Splunk forwarder collects the logs from whatever system, right, and then it'll get that information over to the SIEM. Splunk indexer plays the main role in processing the data it receives from forwarders. It takes the data, normalizes it into filled value pairs, determines the data type of the data, and stores them as events. Process data is easy to search and analyze. All right, so we know what the indexer does. All right, so processing the data and receives it from the forwarder. So from the forwarders, from the endpoints, right? The forwarder is going to send that over to Splunk. Then this indexer is going to take care of the processing from those forwarders, right? It says it takes the data, normalizes it into filled pairs, determines the data types of the data, and stores them, etc., etc. All right, search head is the place within search and reporting app where users can search the index logs as shown below. When the user searches for a term or uses a search language known as Splunk Search Processing Language, the request is sent to the indexer and the relevant events are returned in the form of filled value pairs. So you're going to see that up here. The search head is going to be this little search bar up here. Okay, and the index here equals main. All right, so they're using this main index here to search for events in there. Search head also provides the ability to transform the results into presentable tables, visualizations like pie chart, bar chart, and column chart as shown below. So you can get really fancy with this, get all the neat colors and charts and graphs that managers love to see. Question time. Which component is used to collect and send data over the Splunk instance? Well, we know that's going to be the Splunk indexer, right? No, sorry, not the indexer. The forwarder is the one that collects it. The indexer is the one that normalizes the data. So we're going to go with forwarder here for this answer. Plug it in. Okay, so we should be good there. And now let's go back up here real quick and check on our lab. And now let's see if it's going to work properly. If not, we may need to wait a few more minutes to see what's going on with it. And it looks like it's going to load finally. See, sometimes you have to restart these VMs and kind of fiddle around with them to get them working properly. But it looks like it's going to load up. But we're going to continue to task number 4 here, navigating Splunk. This Splunk bar, when you access Splunk, you will see the default home screen identical to the screenshot below. So once it spins up, we'll see something similar to this here. And let's look at each section or panel that makes up the home screen. The top panel is the Splunk bar, which is the below image here. In the Splunk bar, you can see system level messages, configure the Splunk instance, settings, review the progress of jobs activity, miscellaneous information such as tutorials, help, and a search feature find. The ability to switch between installed Splunk apps instead of using the apps panel can be achieved from the Splunk bar, like in the image below. So there you go there, Splunk bar. Now it's finally spun up here, and we can see similar items as we can see here in this picture there, right? So apps panel here. Next is the apps panel. In the panel, you can see the apps installed for the Splunk instance, default app for every Splunk installation, and search and reporting, which is right there. Okay, good to know. Explore Splunk. The next section is Explore Splunk. This panel contains quick links to add data to the Splunk instance, add new Splunk apps, and access the Splunk documentation. Okay, that's good to know there. Okay, so they're talking about this section here, this little area here. Splunk dashboard. The last section is the home dashboard. By default, no dashboards are displayed. You can choose from a range of dashboards readily available within your Splunk instance. You can select a dashboard from the dropdown or by visiting the dashboards listing page. So that's good to know there as well. Right? And I'm going to see if I can just open this up in a bigger screen here, make it easier for y'all. So let's minimize this, exit split the view, and here we go. So I think this looks a lot better and easier to navigate throughout here. Right, so you got add data, Splunk apps, docs, stuff like that. You got settings and things up here. You got messages here, activity, jobs, help, stuff there. Settings has all kinds of stuff you can fill around with here. All right, so if you want to search and reporting, it'll take you there to that particular area, right? So if you want to search on items here, you also just see let's see what's in here. So let's try index equals star. So anything in here, and let's just do 24 hours, if anything comes up here. Nothing. Okay, let's try 7 days. That's probably going to be something a lot older than this previous year. Okay, maybe we'll get to this here in a minute, but let's go ahead and continue on here. All right, so we got the dashboard stuff here. We want to check out those dashboards. You can click up here as well to see what's in here. So you have different kinds of dashboards available for us, 4 different dashboards. So let's see here. It says you can create dashboards, add them to the home dashboard. The dashboards you create can be viewed isolated from the other dashboards by clicking the Yours tab. Please review the Splunk documentation on navigating Splunk here. So check that out if you want more information regarding that. Question time. In the Add Data tab, which option is used to collect data from files and ports? So I'm assuming they want us to go and look at that. And let's see if we can go back to that screen here. Add data. Okay. And we need to figure out the option to collect data from files and ports. Okay, so it looks like it can be the monitor one. It looks like the one we're looking for here, because if we go and look at it, it says find, or sorry, it says files and ports on the Splunk platform instance. So there we go there for that one. Next one, number 5, adding data. Splunk can ingest any data as per the Splunk documentation. When data is added to Splunk, the data is processed and transformed into a series of individual events. The data sources can be event logs, website logs, firewall logs, etc. Data sources are grouped into categories. Below is a chart listing from the Splunk documentation detailing each data source category. So I'm not going to go through all these here, but you can see what they're talking about here. You got files and directories. Most data that you see or you might be interested in comes directly from files and directories, network events. The Splunk software can index remote data from any network port and SNMP events from remote devices. You have IT operations, cloud services, database services, security services, virtualization services, application servers, Windows sources, and other sources. A plethora of different data sources and then process that information to make it really available for SOC analysts and such, or anyone who wants to go in and view those particular logs, right? So Splunk can not just only be used for security purposes, but you can use it for operation purposes as well. So maybe your IT operations team wants to collect data in there, like your network operation center or just admins or whatever want to take a look at events that have been collected and try to troubleshoot issues. They can do things of that nature as well with Splunk. In this room, we're going to focus on VPN logs. When we click the Add Data link from the Splunk home screen, we're presented with the following screen. What data do you want to send to Splunk platform, okay? Or get data with the following methods. So you have various different options here to choose from. So this is good to know here. We'll use the upload option to upload the data from our local machine, download the attached log file, and upload it to Splunk. Hopefully it's already on this box somewhere. Maybe it's in here, network configs. Let's see here. Maybe it'll tell us later on. As shown above, it has a total of 5 steps to successfully upload the data. Select the source, where we select log source. Select source type, select what type of logs are being ingested. Input settings, select the index where these logs will be dumped and the host name to be associated with the logs. Review all the GIF, and done. Final step where the data is uploaded successfully and ready to be analyzed. So we're going to see something like this once we go through this process here. Okay, so this looks pretty straightforward, right? All right, so let's see here. As you can see, there are a lot of logs, a lot more logs. We can add the Splunk instance, and Splunk supports various source types. Download the attached log file VPN logs and upload this file into the Splunk instance with the right source type. In the case you're using attack box, this file is available with root rooms Splunk basics directory. So let's go there. So we go here, rooms, and then I said Splunk basics, which is this here, and then there we go. So let's go ahead and go over here, and then we'll just go to upload, select files here, and then we will go to the rooms, and then it was a Splunk basic, and then we'll grab these VPN log JSON file. Looks like it's good. So we'll click next. Okay, select source type. Assuming we just leave it as is. Okay, let's just check these items here if there's anything of interest. I think we're good here because it's already parsing out this information here, or processing this information, right? So let's just go ahead and click next. Input settings, we'll just leave everything alone as the default. Review, everything looks good to go here. Okay, submit, and now we're done. We can start searching and see. But it gives you other options to look up things here. So we're already getting data back here. So it looks good to go there. But there's other options you can look at as well as you're doing this. But anyway, we have questions here. So as usual, be sure to upload that file for the VPN logs. Try to answer these questions yourself. If you get stuck or whatever, come back to the video and we will go through the process together. Hey everybody, this is WireDogSec. Just a quick reminder to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Once you hit the notification bell, be sure to set to all notifications so you know every time I post to the channel, upload a video, all that good stuff. Let's continue to grow our glorious community here. We are in the cyber trenches. We're not just reporting on it. Be sure to check out my channel as well. I have tons of videos. You can see here over 300 videos ready for you to check out and learn something from. Be sure to review my posts. I'm frequently posting new things to my channel here, including jobs and everything related to that. Also, I have tons of playlists here that you can review, make it more convenient for you. Anyway, happy defending, happy hacking, enjoy the video. Let's take a look at these questions. Upload the data attached to this task and create an index VPN underscore logs. How many events are present in the log file? Follow along with the video. We've already done this. So let's flip over to our VM. And the screen is super small here. So let's hit this refresh, see if that fixes it. There we go. Now what you want to do is make sure you go over to the date and time, set this to all time, like so. And then make sure to search on it. And it looks like we have 2,862 events here. So let's plug that in, 2862. There we go. How many logs, log events by the user Melina are captured? All right, so with Splunk, you can see fields over here. Okay, you have various fields once again. And if you've been watching my series on this particular module or learning path, rather, you know that this looks similar to the ELK stack. So you can click on one of these, you can see this little pop-up box here, and it gives you like a little breakdown of the top items here, or values, or whatever. So we're gonna go down to, I guess, username. That would be the blatantly obvious one. So we have a bunch of users in here, and we need to find Melina. So we'll just click on Melina, but we can see 60 is there for the count. But if you want to check it out, you can click on Melina, and it automatically load that in there. So we should have 60 events for that one. What is the name associated with the IP 106, or sorry, 107.14.182.38? So we're going to copy this over and probably want to look at source IP or something like that inside of here if there's an option for it. There we go, source IP. We'll click that, and we'll need to first get rid of Molina. So we'll get that out of there. And let's this to search again, and now we'll go back to source IP, and you can see there's a ton in here. We need that. What you can do, you can go ahead and just click it in here, right? And it'll pop up here at the top here, or you can do it manually and type it in, right? But we're gonna be lazy and just do it this way, or do it the faster way. So we'll just replace that IP, hit enter, or hit search here, and we have 26 events that come back for this particular source IP. So we'll see, it says, what is the name associated? So we need to find the name associated with this. Once we get the events, we can go and take a look down here and see what they're looking for here. And the username for this one appears to be Smith. You can also go over here to these fields and select username, and Smith is the only one that comes back for it. We have 26 hits there for that. Okay, so we're going to type in Smith for that one. It should say username instead of just name here, because you could easily get this confused with something else in there, I'm sure. But anyway, we know what they're talking about. What is the number of events that originated from all countries except France? Okay, so once again, we're going to need to clear out this here, hit enter, and then we'll need to go to the side here, the side panel, and see if we can find a country or something that can reference it. So let's see here. We can see source country there, so this is probably what we're looking for. We'll go in and we'll select France. Okay, so this is everything for France. Now, what we need to do here is going to type in not source underscore country equal France and hit enter or search here, and we should have 2814 as our answer there. So we're excluding everything except France. Okay, how many VPN events were observed by the IP 107.3.206.58? Okay, so once again, we're gonna do what we kind of did up here, right? Let's take all this out, okay? And then we'll just use this here since it was already filled in for us. And then we'll just replace the IP with the IP in question here. And I need to fix this. There we go. 14 for events there. Okay, there we go there. Now, another thing you can do here with Splunk is that if you have multiple IPs or something, what you can do is replace this equal with like n, and that way you can do multiple here. So if you want to do something like that, and so we have one in there, there's a second one. Okay, and then you can hit enter or search here, and then now it'll pull up information for both of those IPs, right? So just something that you can use there. Okay, so we're done with that. And task number 6, let's wrap it up with the conclusion. In this room, we explored Splunk, its components, and how it works. Please check the following Splunk walkthrough and challenge rooms to understand how Splunk is effectively used in investigating the incidents. So we have different ones here: incident handling with Splunk, investigating with Splunk, benign challenge, and Posh Eclipse challenge. So we're done with this room here. Awesome. So once again, if you want to support the channel, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so every time I upload something to the channel or post something to the channel, you'll be aware of what's going on out there. As always, thank you for taking the time to watch my video. Have a nice day, and I will see you in the next one. Hey everybody, this is WireDogSec. Just a quick reminder to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Once you hit the notification bell, be sure to set to all notifications so you know every time I post to the channel, upload a video, all that good stuff. Let's continue to grow our glorious community here. We are in the cyber trenches. We're not just reporting on it. Be sure to check out my channel as well. I have tons of videos that you can see here, over 300 videos ready for you to check out and learn something from. Be sure to review my posts. I'm frequently posting new things to my channel here, including jobs and everything related to that. Also, I have tons of playlists here that you can review, make it more convenient for you. Anyway, happy defending, happy hacking, enjoy the video. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is WireDogSec, back with another video for you guys. Today's video is TryHackMe, and we are doing the SOC Level 1 Learning Path, Security Information Event Management Module, or SIEM for short, and this is the Investigating with ELK 101 room. Investigate the VPN logs through ELK. Now you will need to start up a Kibana server, as you can see here, so be sure to go to task number 4 here and start that machine button, because it does take 3 to 5 minutes according to this task here, for everything to spin up. I'm using the attack box to access it, but you can use the attack box or you can use the VPN in order to access the Kibana server. So just take that into consideration, okay? Anyway, if you are enjoying the content, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel so you know everything that I post here, all that good stuff. Task 1, Introduction. In this room, we will learn how to utilize the Kibana interface to search, filter, and create visualizations and dashboards while investigating VPN logs for anomalies. This room also covers a brief overview of Elasticsearch components and how they work together, so learning objectives. This room has the following learning objectives: how to perform searches, apply a filter, save search, how to create visualizations, investigate VPN logs to identify anomalies, and to create a dashboard using saved searches and visualizations. Awesome, which you'll be doing this often when it comes to SIMs and such. Task number 2, incident handling scenario. A US-based company, CyberT, has been monitoring the VPN logs of the employees in the SOC team, detected some anomalies in the VPN activities. Our task as SOC analysts is to examine the VPN logs for January 2022 and identified the anomalies. Some of the key points to note before the investigation are the following. All VPN logs are being ingested into the index VPN underscore connection. So VPN connections for the index. The index contains VPN logs for January 2022. Okay. A user, Johnny Brown, was terminated on 1st January 2022. We observed failed connection attempts against some users that need to be investigated. So we're looking at the screenshot here. There's the index there that we're looking at, and then there's the events over here that we need to sift through. So over 2,000 hits there. Okay, well, let's get out of this. Task complete. Okay, I guess we just needed to examine the image there to see what the interface looks like. Task number 3, Elasticstack overview. Elasticstack is a collection of different open source components linked together to help users take the data from any source and in any format, perform a search, analyze, and visualize the data in real time. So we have Elasticsearch for the E, Logstash for the L, Beats for the B, and Kibana for the K. Let's explore each component briefly and see how they work together. So Elasticsearch says is a full text search engine and analytics engine used to store JSON formatted documents. It says is an important component used to store, analyze, and perform correlation on the data, etc. And supports RESTful API to interact with the data. Logstash is a data processing engine used to take the data from different sources, apply the filter on it or normalize it, and then send it to the destination, which would be Kibana or listening port. A Logstash configuration file is divided into 3 parts as shown below. So you have the input part is where the user defines the source from which data is being ingested. Logstash supports many input plugins as shown in the reference, so you can take a look at that here. And it says the filter part is where the user specifies the filter options to normalize the log ingested above. Logstash supports many filter plugins as shown in the reference documentation, so you can check that out here. The output part is where the user wants the filter data to send. It can be a listening port, Kibana instant or interface, Elasticsearch database, a file, etc. Logstash supports many output plugins as shown in the reference documentation there. Okay, so you have input, filter, and output. And Beats is a host-based agent known as data shippers that is used to ship/transfer data from the endpoints to Elasticsearch. Each beat is a single purpose agent that sends specific data to Elasticsearch. All available beats are shown below, and this is what they are here. File beat, metric beat, and you can see the rest there. So we can do all kinds of things. So basically, like it says there, it's an agent on the machine, on the endpoint, and then it sends that information over to Elasticsearch so we can look at it. And Kibana is a web-based data visualization that works with Elasticsearch to analyze, investigate, and visualize the data stream in real time. It allows for users to create multiple visualizations and dashboards for better visibility. More on Kibana in the later task. So this is what it looks like when they work together. So Beats, like I said, data collection agent, sent that to Logstash. Okay, so we were missing that piece earlier when we were reading about a Beats there, right? But anyway, so it goes from Beats, it goes to Logstash, data input, filter, process and output. Then it goes to Elasticsearch, index and store data, and then Kibana analysis and visualization. Cool. Beats is a set of different data shipping agents used to collect data from multiple agents, like WinLog Beat is used to collect Windows event logs. Pack Beat collects network traffic flows. All right, so Beats it will be similar to, I'm assuming, something like Waza, right? Or maybe like Sysmon. So it works like similarly to those. My understanding here. Logstash collects data from beats, ports, or files, etc., parses/normalizes it into filled value pairs, and stores them into Elasticsearch. Okay, so Logstash does the parsing and things of that nature. And Elasticsearch acts as a database used to search and analyze data. Okay, database, we go and store stuff into it. Okay, Elasticsearch, and then Kibana is responsible for displaying and visualizing the data stored in Elasticsearch. The data stored in Elasticsearch can easily be shaped into different visualizations, time charts, infographics, etc. using Kibana. Okay, awesome. So Kibana is used as the actual like GUI and whatnot to look up the data and things of that nature. All right, cool. Question time. You know what to do. Pause the video, try to answer the question yourself, then come back to the video, and we will continue on. All right, let's take a look here. Logstash is used to visualize data. That is incorrect. Kibana is used to do that, as we just read above. Elasticsearch supports all data formats apart from JSON, and I'm pretty sure it does support JSON. So I'm going to put nay on that because we read that above here about JSON. If I could find the post real quick, or the section for it real quick. Yes, right there. Used to store JSON format documents. There we go. Task number 4, Kibana overview, and I already have it fired up over here. As we covered a brief intro of Kibana in this room, we will explore different Kibana features while investigating the VPN logs. Kibana is an integral part of Elasticsearch that is used to display, visualize, and search logs. Some of the important tabs we'll cover are the following. So you have the Discover tab, visualization, and the dashboard. All right. Room machine. This is basically just telling you how to connect to it. Okay, if you're going to do it through the VPN, you're going to do it through the attack box and access it. Obviously, I'm using the attack box there, so we're going to complete that. And task number 5, Discover tab. Kibana Discover tab is a place where analysts spend most of their time. This tab shows the ingested logs, also known as documents, the search bar, normalized fields, etc. Here, analysts can perform the following tasks: search for the logs, investigate anomalies, apply filters based on the search term, time period. All right. First, let me get logged in here. Okay. Let's go ahead and log in. All right. Cool. So now that's getting logged in there. There's a Discover tab here. As we were just talking about earlier, I had mentioned that. Discover tab within Kibana interface contains the logs being ingested manually or in real time. Time chart, normalized fields, etc. Analysts spend most of their time in here, right? So if we want to take a look at the little breakdown here, they're going to go into it here in a minute. But this is what it looks like. Events down here, you got a little chart up here, graph up here, and then you got where you can arrange the time frame up here. Right, start and end time frame. You know, got the search bar up here to put your search criteria in, filters options here. Okay, index, we're using that VPN connections. Then on the side here, you got different fields you can choose from in there. All right, and then it's telling us we're on the Discover up there. But anyway, let's see here. So when you go to overview, all right, well, there's dashboards, all kinds of nifty things inside of here. There's Discover tab. Okay, it looks kind of wonky here. We'll probably um, open up in the bigger full screen here. That's the word I'm looking for here. So let's minimize this for now. And there we go. Cool. All right. So now we got that settled. Some key information, logs, documents. Each log here is also known as a single document containing information about the event. It shows the fields and values found in the document. All right. And you already saw that down here where we're looking at. Then fields pane, number 2, left pane. On interface, it shows the list of fields parsed from the logs. We can click on any field and add the filter or remove it from the search. Okay. And that's over here. All right, I'm not going to go through all these here, but you can pause the video and read through them yourself. All right, number 3, index pattern, right there. And then number 4, search bars. We saw that earlier up here. Number 5, time filter over there. And then number 6, time interval, right here in the middle. And then number 7, the top bar over there. I'm assuming they're talking about this up here. Okay, cool, good to know. Each important element found in Discover tab is briefly explained below. So time filter, I mean, it sounds pretty much straightforward to me, but let's go ahead and see. The time filter allows us to apply a log filter based on the time. It has many options to choose from. You can see that here, absolute time, relative time, now, and then there's the dates. There's the actual times you can set here on the side. Okay. All right, if we want to mess around with it and go back here, we can go to, okay, let's see. All right, so we need to adjust this time so that, there we go. This is what I'm looking for here. All right, go to absolutes. When you go back to January 1st, right? yeah, January 1st, 2022. All right, I will just put this in there for now. I'll probably have to look at this again later. So let's go back to January again. Actually, go to the 2nd, and then we'll go all the way to 0. All right, just to see what it looks like in here, and we'll click update there. So that stuff piling in here, and we do all kinds of hits there. Okay, that's pretty neat. Good to know there. Quick select. The quick select tab is another useful tab within Kibana, which we just saw that on the date. The refresh every option at the end of this says will allow us to choose the time to refresh the log continuously. If 5 seconds is set, the log will refresh every 5 seconds automatically. Okay, and we didn't see that. But we saw it. We didn't play around with it or anything down there. But it's down at the bottom. Okay, good to know there. And timeline pane provides an overview of the number of events that occurred from the time/date as shown below. We can select the bar only to show the logs in any specified period. The count at the top displays the number of documents/events it found in select time, which we already saw that. The bar is also helpful in identifying the spike in the logs. We got an unusual spike on 11th January 2022, worth investigating. Cool. All right, so they went all the way down to January 31st. So let's just follow along here. We should see something similar. Okay, let's see. It's running. All right, well, I guess not. Index pattern. Kibana by default requires an index pattern to access the data stored/being inspected or ingested in Elasticsearch. Index pattern tells Kibana which Elasticsearch data we want to explore. Each index pattern corresponds to certain defined properties of the fields. A single index pattern can point to multiple indices. Each log source has a different log structure. Therefore, when logs are ingested in Elasticsearch, they first normalize into corresponding fields and values by creating a dedicated index pattern for the data source. In the attached tab, we will be exploring the index pattern with the name VPN connections that contains VPN logs. Cool. Good note there. And we saw some of that data over here on the side, like what they're talking about here. Okay. You can actually click on it and they'll show you additional information like such. See if you got what you have in there and if you want to actually see that as you're building things out. Okay, but I'm sure they're going to talk about that here shortly. Left panel fields. The left panel of the Kibana interface shows the list of the normalized fields it finds in available documents/logs. Click on any field and it will show the top 5 values and the percentage of the occurrence. We can use these values to apply filters to them. Clicking on the plus button will add a filter to show the logs containing this value and apply the button, or in the button will apply the filter on the value to show the results that you do not have this value. Okay, right there, plus and minus, right? So you want to add this to it, then you click that plus. If you want to remove it or exclude it, click the minus. All right, got it. Add filter button, add filter option under the search bar allows us to apply a filter on the fields as shown below here. Okay. So this is good to know here and kind of, I guess, saves time a little bit. Okay. I'm sure we're gonna have to use this here in a minute. Create table. By default, the documents are shown in raw form. We can click any document and select import fields to create a table showing only those fields. This method helps reduce the noise and makes it more presentable and meaningful. That's cool. So let's take a look at this real quick. All right, that's interesting. So we'll definitely have to fill around with it to get the hang of everything in there. But let's see here. Don't forget to save the table format once it's created. It will then show the fields every time a user logs into the dashboard. That's good to know there as you're building out these dashboards. All right, once again, there's some questions here. Pause the video and try to answer them yourself. Come back to the video and we will step through it together. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Be sure to hit the like button, comment, and subscribe. Once you subscribe, be sure to hit that notification bell. All right, so you know every time I post a new video. As you can see here, most people that view my videos, view my channel, are not subscribed. Now, if you do subscribe, it will help me get into the YouTube algorithm so that we can continue to grow our glorious community here. As always, thank you all for taking the time to watch. Have a nice day and enjoy the video. Select the index VPN connections and filter from 31st December 2021 to the 2nd of February 2022. How many hits are returned? All right, so let's flip over here to our VM, our attack box, and we are in Discover, VPN connections, already there. So we need to change this to, you got to go to absolute, and then you can change this to December, I think it said 31st, 2021. Let me make sure. Yes, 31st December to the 2nd of February. So that's the first one, and then the second one, we'll click here, and then February 2022. Okay, hit update. 2,861 hits should be our answer there. Okay, which IP address has the max number of connections? So let's take a look, see if we can find that information here. So we have source IP, we can see the top 5 here, and it's probably going to be this one here. This is the top one, so let's go ahead and grab it. Okay. Which user is responsible for max traffic? All right, so let's take a look here, username, and it looks like James is what we're looking for here. He's the top one. If I can spell James correctly. And it says create a table with the fields IP, username, source, country, and save. On the left side here, we can see the filters, and we need to get the IP, user, and source country. So let's go ahead and add that here. IP, user, and source country. Now we can see more information here, right? So we scroll up a little bit, we have our columns there now. Next one, apply filter on username Amanda. Which source IP has max hits? So let's do that. We'll go to add filter here, and username is Amanda. All right, so it looks good to go there. Save. Awesome. Okay, so once again, we'll click this, and we'll get this IP here, this 107.14.1.247 should be our answer for this question here. Source has max hits. On 11th January, which IP caused the spike observed in the time chart? Okay, so we're looking at January 11th, and we're looking at a spike. Okay, so let's take a look here. Whoops. So let's see. All right, so there's the 13th, 14th. It says the 11th, correct? Yeah. All right, so let's get rid of Amanda. Maybe that's why what's throwing us off here. There we go. All right, so this is it here. So we'll click in here. All right, so there's two different IPs in there. The one that you need should be this 191 IP. In order to get that, you have to click on one of these bars in here, click the one that's like has the most hits in there, and it should get this IP for you. So we're gonna plug this one in as our answer there. How many connections were observed from IP 238.163.231.224, excluding the New York State? Okay, so let's grab this IP, and then we need to exclude New York out of here. Okay, so let's go back over here and let's see here. Filter, source IP, save. Then we need another filter for the state, New York. Okay, got it. Okay, and we need to, I'm assuming you got to fix that time in there. How many connections were observed? Okay, yeah. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm assuming we have to go back and fix this. I'm going to change this back to December. That was December 31st, 2021. I did February 2nd. Okay, now let's see. All right, so that looks good to go there. We need to figure out how many connections were. So once again, we're going to click this here, and it says 48. So that should be our answer there. Awesome. Task number 6, KQL overview. KQL, which is the Kibana query language, is a search query language used to search the ingested logs, documents, and the Elasticsearch. Apart from the KQL language, Kibana also supports Lucene query language. We can disable the KQL query as shown below. If you want to do that, you can do it like this here. In this task, we will be exploring KQL syntax. With KQL, we can search for the logs in 2 different ways: free text search, and then we have field-based search. A free text search allows users to search for the logs based on the text only. That means a simple search of the term security will return all the documents that contain this term, irrespective of the field. Let us look at the index, which includes the VPN logs. One of the field source country has the list of countries where the VPN connections originated, as shown below. So that's good to know if we do free text search and see what comes back. That's pretty much like doing like a broad search, see what hits you get. Let's search on the text United States in the search bar and return all the logs that contain this term, regardless of the place or field. This search returned 2,304 hits, as shown below. That's an example of this one here, searching for things that have United States in there. Next one, what if we only search for the term United? Will it return any results? No results match your search criteria. It didn't return any results because KQL looks for the whole term or word in the documents. Okay, that's a good thing to know. It didn't return, okay, wildcards, there we go. KQL allows the wildcard, which is the star asterisk, to match parts of the term or word. Let's find out how to use this wildcard in the search query. Search query, so United and then star United, then anything after that, and it'll pull back that information there. Okay, pretty straightforward. We have used the wildcard with the term United to return all the results containing the term United and any other term. If we had any logs with the term United Nations, it would also have returned those as a result of the wildcard. Logical operators and or not. KQL also allows users to utilize the logical operators in a search query. Let us see some examples. So OR operator will use the OR operator to show logs that contain either the United States or England. So United States or England. It's pretty straightforward there. And if it has both in there, so United States and Virginia, right? Then not. Similarly, we can use not operator to remove the particular term from the search results. So there you go there. So they want stuff that has United States and not Florida. So they're excluding Florida from the results. Field-based search. Once again, you can type in the fields on the side there and the bar up here, and then build your queries off from there. Okay. So in the field-based search, we will provide the field name, the value we're looking for in the logs. Search has a special syntax of field : value. it uses a colon as a separator between the field and the value. Let's look at a few examples. So search query, source IP, you can see the rest there. So they have the colons in there, and then the items they're going to search on. Okay, explanation, we're telling Kibana to display all the documents in which the field source IP contains the value .54 and username Solman as shown below. All right, so if you want to take a look at that here, it's good to know there. So they're manually typing it in up here and building it out. As we click on the search bar, we will be presented with all the available fields that we can use in our search query. To explore the other options of KQL, look at the official reference here. So check that out if you're interested. Question time. Be sure to pause the video and try to answer these yourself, and we will step through them together. All right, so let's take a look here. Create a search query to filter out the logs from source country as United States and shows logs from the user James or Albert. How many records were returned? Okay, so we need to get search country, United States, or source country. Okay, source country, United States. Okay. All right, so we have that, and then we need logs from user James or Albert. Okay. So and then we need the user. Okay, so Albert was one of them. Then username again. Okay, didn't do it correctly. Let me select it right. Okay. And it was James. So let's scroll down. All right, there's James. Hit update. We have 161 hits there, so that should be our answer that we're looking for here. As user Johnny Brown was terminated on 1st January 2022, create a search query to determine how many times a VPN connection was observed after his termination. So we need to change the username to Johnny Brown. So I'm going to copy this here. And so after January 1st, 2022, okay, let's delete. So we can delete both of these out of here. All right. And we can get rid of this. We don't need that anymore. Update here, and we'll need to, so only one hit according to this. So we didn't even need to adjust the time. And that was on the 7th. There we go. Task number 7, creating visualizations. The visualization tab allows us to visualize the data in different forms, like table, pie charts, bar charts, etc. The visualization task will use multiple options to, options. This tab provides to create some simple presentable visualizations, create a visualization. There are multiple or few ways to navigate to the visualization tab. One way is to click on any field in the Discovery tab and click on the visualization as below. So if you want to do that, you can take a look like this. Okay, it's pretty neat to know. We can create multiple visualizations by selecting options like tables, pie charts, etc. Correlation option. Often we require creating correlations between multiple fields. Dragging the required field in the middle will create a correlation tab in the visualization tab. Here we have selected source country as the second field to show a correlation among client source IPs. Interesting. So we can also create a table to show the values of the selected columns, selected fields as columns as shown below. I like this view here, and you can sort it too. The most important step in creating these visualizations is to save them. Click on the Save option on the right side and fill in the descriptive values below. We can add these visualizations to the already existing dashboard, or we can create a new one as well. So if you want to save it, you can do like this. Steps to take after creating visualizations: create a visualization and click the Save button at the top right corner. add the title and description to the visualization. We can add the visualization to any existing dashboard or a new dashboard. Click Save and Add to the library when it's done. Failed connection attempts. We will utilize the knowledge gained above to create a table to display the user and the IP address involved in failed attempts. Neat there. And we need to go ahead and do that because you have to answer some questions apparently. So we have 2 questions here. So we should create that dashboard to answer these questions. They come at the video and we'll step through it together, including the dashboard. Which user was observed with the greatest number of failed attempts? And then how many wrong VPN connection attempts were observed in January? All right, so let's go ahead and take a look here. We need to find the greatest number of failed attempts. And let's get rid of this information here. So I have everything back to normal. So now we need to see what we have here in field types, anything of interest. Okay, we have action here, tear down, built. So there's a few others in here. Let's try to add a filter. We can filter on action and see what they have here. Action is, let's just say failed. There we go. Save that. 274 is the answer there. It should be our answer. I mean, we just filtered on it. We need to find out what the user it was. That was it. Okay. So now we can go to action again and then visualize. It'll take us to the visualization or visualize library here. And we can see the record still. And then now we need to plug in the user. And Simon is our user there. So let's go ahead and plug in Simon. Okay. How many wrong VPN connection attempts were observed in January? You can also add this too. So let's see what that looks like. Yeah, and it just says Simon there. Okay, cool. So now we need to get the wrong VPN connection attempts in January. And let's flip back over to Discover. Let's get rid of this here. And I think we can just do just action probably. So let's do that here. Let's check out action. All right. And it says January, so let's see if we need to adjust that time. I don't think it gives us the date, right? Yeah, observed in January. Okay, so let's go to January 2022. Change this to January 2022, or yeah, January 2022, and then all right, let's do update here. Okay, and let's see, 1296. There's filled, and well, it says only. Okay, we'll need the wrong ones. All right, so 274 should be answer there for the wrong ones, which would be filled, right? Because they're not successful. So 274. Okay, that could have been worded a little bit better, but it's fine. But now we know what it looks like in the visualization if you want to mess around in here. Okay, next one is task number 8, creating dashboards. Dashboards provide good visibility on the logs collection. A user can create multiple dashboards to fulfill a specific need. In this task, we can combine different saved searches and visualizations to create a custom dashboard for VPN logs visibility, create a custom dashboard. But now we have saved a few searches from the Discover tab and created some visualizations and saved them. It's time to explore the dashboard tab and create a custom dashboard. These steps to create a dashboard are following. Go to dashboard tab and click the create dashboard. Okay, so when you go to dashboards, I guess we need to save those. Okay, let's just do wrong VPN, I guess. All right, so I guess we can apply it later on after we create the dashboard or whatever. So let's just save that now, and then we'll flip over to the dashboards. I guess we need to use that later on. Okay, so go to dashboard tab and click the create dashboard button. Click on add from library. All right, add from library. We already have a bunch in here. Okay, let's see. Click on the visualization and save searches. It will be added to the dashboard once the items are added. Adjust them accordingly as shown below. Don't forget to save the dashboard after completing it. I guess you select whatever you need. Create the dashboard containing the available visualizations. All right, cool. So I guess we can click all these and see. All right, let's see what this one looks like. There we go. So now we have everything in here. You can quickly get that snapshot. That's the thing about dashboards. It gives you that good overview or snapshot of your environment, so that if something looks funky, you can identify it quickly and then pivot off of that information and do some further investigation. So this is good stuff here. This is what you'll see in a lot of SIEMs as well, like Splunk, Google SecOps, whatever SIEM tool you're going to be using out there. You should have dashboards that your SOC analyst can reference and utilize to become more efficient at their job. Okay. So we're done with that. We played around with the dashboards, everything inside of here. And let's see if we need to do anything else here. So they want us to save it afterwards. But I don't think we need to save it. I mean, they obviously have a lot more than we do. They say failed attempts, a bunch of other ones in there too. So go ahead and save it, I guess, if you want to. But this is pretty neat. This is good stuff here. They're playing around with all kinds of things in here. Like you can do different things. Like looks like you do some kind of exports and whatnot. So that's pretty neat there. Cool. Edit it and everything. That's cool. That's similar to like how Splunk works too. I'm pretty sure I mean, any other SIM as well. You build out those search queries, and you can use those to visualize the information on the dashboards that you have in there. Cool. Awesome. So you can save the dashboard and we'll just call it test, whatever. Done. Done with that. And I guess if you ever go to dashboards, you can just go ahead and select it. I mean, there it is. Yep. Nice. Okay, so we're done with that. All right, conclusion. In this room, we briefly explored ELK components and then focused more on Kibana interface and its features. While exploring Kibana interface, we learned the following: how to create a search query to search for logs, apply filters to narrow down the results, create visualizations and dashboards, how to investigate the VPN logs. Yes, we did all of that. A lot of practical stuff here that we could focus on here. Awesome. So we are pretty much done with this room. As usual, if you want to support the channel, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Thank you all for taking the time to watch my video. Have a nice day, and I will see you in the next video. Hey everybody, this is WireDogSec. Just a quick reminder to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Once you hit the notification bell, be sure to set to all notifications so you know every time I post to the channel, upload a video, all that good stuff. Let's continue to grow our glorious community here. We are in the cyber trenches. We're not just reporting on it. Be sure to check out my channel as well. I have tons of videos. You can see here over 300 videos ready for you to check out and learn something from. Be sure to review my posts. I'm frequently posting new things to my channel here, including jobs and everything related to that. Also, I have tons of playlists here that you can review, make it more convenient for you. Anyway, happy defending, happy hacking. Enjoy the video. Hey everybody, Welcome back to my channel. This is WireDogSec, back with another video for you guys. Today's video, we are in TryHackMe SOC Level 1 updated version, so the 2025 or 2026 version. This is the Core SOC Solutions module, Introduction to SOAR Room. Learn the concepts and methodology surrounding security orchestration, automation, and response. So let's see what they're cooking with today. One introduction to defend against attacks. A SOC team relies on various security solutions such as SIEM, EDR, firewalls, and threat intelligence platforms. They also communicate with IT and management teams as part of their processes. However, as threats grow more complex and advanced, SOC teams face challenges like alert fatigue, manual processes, and too many disconnected tools, and difficulties in communication across teams. In this room, we will explore how the security orchestration, automation, and response, or SOAR, tool overcomes these challenges for a SOC team. Learning objectives, understand the traditional SOC and its challenges, explore how SOAR overcomes the challenges, learn SOAR playbooks, practically walk through a threat intelligence workflow. Prerequisites. A look at the following rooms would be helpful before starting this room. So SOC Fundamentals, Junior Security Analyst Intro, and Intro to Detection Engineering, or check out my channel for videos related to those. And if you want to help support the channel, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, and hit that notification bell so you know every time I upload to the channel. Without further delay, let's go ahead and dive into it. Task 2, Traditional SOC and Challenges. How traditional SOCs work. Before we dive into learning the SOAR tool, let's take a look at how traditional security operations centers, or SOCs, work and the challenges they face. Organizations have a SOC as a centralized location for monitoring and protecting their digital assets. SOCs have evolved over time, with every generation adding new technology. The main advantage of an organization having a SOC is to enhance its security incident handling through continuous monitoring and analysis. This is achievable by implementing the right amount of people, processes, and technologies to support the SOC's capabilities and business goals. Some key capabilities of a SOC include the following. Monitoring and detection. This focuses on continuously scanning and flagging suspicious activities within a network environment. It leads to awareness of emerging threats and how to prevent them in their early stages. The monitoring is mainly done through the SIEM. For example, detecting numerous failed login attempts on a critical workstation, or detecting a login from an unknown location, etc. Recovery and remediation. Organizations rely on their SOC to provide a hub for recovery and remediation when incidents occur. SOC teams operate as first responders when cyber threats are identified. They perform operations such as isolating or shutting down infected endpoints, removing malware, and stopping malicious processes. During this process, they often utilize other security solutions like EDR, firewalls, IAM, etc. For example, isolating an endpoint through EDR, blocking an IP on the firewall, disabling a user on the IAM, etc. Threat intelligence. Monitoring environments continuously requires a constant flow of threat intelligence. This ensures that SOC teams have continuous and the latest feeds of threat data, such as IP addresses, hashes, domains, and other indicators. For example, blocking a malicious domain flagged by the threat intelligence feeds. Communication. The SOC teams not only detect and respond to threats, but also coordinate with IT teams and management to effectively communicate the threats and ensure that the incidents are addressed. For example, generating a ticket for the IT team to verify a recently deployed patch. And communication can mean other vectors as well, like Microsoft Teams is very popular these days in a lot of organizations. So you can send an IM or a message to a IT administrator or whatever to verify the activity that had come across in an alert, a ticket, what have you, okay? You can see how SOC works on multiple tools and communicates with various teams to carry out its processes. While these many processes protect the organization, the SOC teams often face some challenges. Let's discuss them. Challenges faced by SOCs. Alert fatigue. Using numerous security tools triggers a large number of alerts within a SOC. Many of these alerts are false positives or insufficient for an investigation, leaving analysts overwhelmed and unable to address any serious security events, and that's why you do tuning and you work with your detection engineering team or your SOC SIEM detection engineer person, okay, to try to tune out those false positives as much as you can. Too many disconnected tools. Security tools are often deployed without integration within an organization. Security teams are tasked with navigating through firewall logs and rules, which are handled independently from endpoint security logs. This also leads to an overload of tools, right? So tool consolidation is a big thing that you should be applying, all right? And those logs should be going to that SIEM, which is that central location that your SOC can go in and take a look at those logs in one location and correlate activity and such. Manual processes. SOC investigation procedures are often not documented, leading to insufficient means of addressing threats. Most rely on established tribal knowledge built by experienced analysts, and the processes are never documented. This results in slowing down the investigation and increasing response times. That's fairly common. Something may be out of date in regards to documentation, or the documentation does not exist. So you have to take time to create that documentation for your team and also for yourself. Talent shortage. SOC teams find recruiting and expanding their talent pool difficult to address the growing security landscape and sophisticated threats. Combining this with the alert overload teams face, security analysts become more overwhelmed with the responsibilities they have to undertake, resulting in less efficient work and extended incident response times that allow adversaries to wreak havoc within an organization. They're trying to apply AI in this particular situation here. If you're short-staffed or don't have enough team members to properly get things done in your SOC environment, well, you can probably look into this AI technology like these autonomous AI agents and see what they can do for your organization. But those will take time to tune as well and to implement correctly. All right, so here's a infographic here. All right, interesting there. Let's see here. Answer the question below. How would you describe the experience of an overload of security events being triaged within a SOC? Well, that's going to be the alert triage, or sorry, the alert fatigue, right? Getting overwhelmed with those alerts that are like false positives, right? So we want to try to trim that down. And we're going to go to task number 3, overcoming SOC challenges with SOAR. In the previous task, we saw some challenges that security operations centers face. In this task, we will learn about a tool that can overcome these challenges for a SOC team. This tool is called Security Organization Automation Response, or SOAR. Let's discuss what this tool is and how it overcomes these challenges. But what is SOAR? SOAR is a tool that unifies all the security tools used in a SOC. Within SOAR, SOC analysts do not need to switch between SIEM, EDR, firewall, and other tools for their investigation. They can operate all these tools within a single SOAR interface. Along with unifying these security tools, it also provides ticketing and case management features to the analysts through which they can document, track, and resolve their incidents in a structured way. So you can see how the SOAR can apply to those various different issues as we just learned about earlier. And there's a fancy little infographic here. So you have the SIEM, their intelligent feeds, firewalls, /IDS, IAM, goes to the SOAR. From there, automated response. What you can do with the SOAR, you can create those playbooks that can do automated response actions, right, on your behalf, or you can set up manual steps if you choose to do that. Like maybe you want a manual step to say, hey, you want to disable this user account, yes or no, right? So it's going to depend on your SOPs or standard operating procedures. Reduce alert fatigue and consistent workflows, right? Reduce alert fatigues. It can go in and close out those false positives that come in. That goes back to tuning. Okay, you can auto close those alerts that come in if you know they are known to be false positives or too noisy, what have you. And let's see here. The core strength of a SOAR tool comes from the following 3 main capabilities. Number 1, orchestration. Traditionally, while investigating an alert, a SOC analyst has to switch between multiple security tools for the analysis. For example, during a VPN brute force, the analyst typically switches between the following tools. Number 1, SIEM, to check if the user usually uses the subject IP for logging. 2, threat intelligence platforms to verify the IP's reputation. 3, IAM tool to disable the user if there was any successful attempt. 4, ticketing system to open and track the incident. This manual switching between different tools slows down the process. Orchestration solves this problem by coordinating all these tools together inside the SOAR. It connects different tools from various vendors within the unified SOAR interface. It defines workflows for investigating various types of alerts, known as playbooks. These playbooks are predefined steps that tell the SOAR how to investigate an alert. For example, the VPN brute force alert we discussed above would have the following playbook. Number one, received an alert from the SIEM. Two, query SIEM to check if the user normally uses the IP. Three, check threat intelligence platforms for the IP's reputation. Four, query SIEM for any successful logins. Five, escalate to containment actions. The above actions are predefined in a playbook for a specific alert. These playbooks are dynamic and usually contain different paths. The result of each step determines the next action. For example, if the user normally uses the IP and the failed attempts are minimal, the playbook may stop early. In the upcoming task, we will discuss some real playbooks. Yes, that's exactly how this works in the real world. Automation, the art of coordination or coordinating with multiple tools through predefined playbooks, which we studied in orchestration can be automated. Automation means no more manual clicks needed from SOC analysts. Like I said, it depends on your standard operating procedures, but yes, SOAR will itself follow the playbooks. Let's resume the playbook for VPN brute force alert combined with automation. Number one, SOAR receives the alert from the SIEM. Two, it automatically queries the SIEM for the user's historical login, so it's enriching the alert, right? Three, it automatically verifies IP reputation through threat intelligence platforms. Four, if the IP is malicious, it automatically disables the user from the IAM. Five, lastly, it automatically opens a ticket in the ticketing system with all the details to initiate an investigation. This saves a tremendous amount of time for the SOC analysts. They can handle hundreds of alerts without burning out. Also, the SOAR has capability of auto assigning and doing like round robin type of alert assigning. So that is very helpful as well. So we don't just have alerts sitting there being unassigned. They'll be assigned to an analyst in the SOC. And number three, response. SOAR gives the ability to take actions using different tools from one unified instance or interface. It also automates the response, as we saw earlier while looking at its automation capability. For example, SOAR can follow the playbook of VPN brute force and block the IP on the firewall, disable the user in IAM, and open a ticket with all the details. And the orchestration, automation, and response capabilities of SOAR solve the major challenges a SOC team faces. With SOAR, there's no more alert fatigue. Most of the processes are automated, and all the different tools are connected for coordination. So there's another infographic here. So we have before and after. Before, you got stuff all over the place, right? SIEM, AIM, their intelligence feeds, firewall, EDR, and you can see that the analyst is stressed out. And over here after SOAR, right, you got everything: automated response, reduced alerting, alert triage, faster containment, automated response. Do we still need a SOC analyst? Of course. While a SOAR tool can automate the majority of repetitive tasks, it does not replace SOC analysts. Complex investigations still require a SOC analyst. SOAR cannot give a judgment call at some critical points, but a SOC analyst can. A SOC analyst understands the threats in the broader business context. The playbooks for different types of alerts are also made by the SOC analyst. So the answer to this question is the SOAR would ease the burden of SOC by automating repetitive tasks and organizing everything in a simplified structure, but we still need SOC analysts. Of course, same thing with AI. You still need that human in the loop to verify the output, the results, what have you. Okay, so questions. The act of connecting and integrating security tools and systems into seamless workflows is known as, and I believe that's going to be the orchestration piece here. So let's go and plug this in as our answer. Next one, what do we call a predefined list of actions to handle an incident? And that should be I believe that was the playbooks, if I'm not mistaken. Let's go ahead and try this out and see. All right. Hey everybody, this is WireDogSec. Just a quick reminder to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Once you hit the notification bell, be sure to set to all notifications so you know every time I post to the channel, upload a video, all that good stuff. Let's continue to grow our glorious community here. We are in the cyber trenches. We're not just reporting on it. Be sure to check out my channel as well. I have tons of videos that you can see here, over 300 videos ready for you to check out and learn something from. Be sure to review my posts. I'm frequently posting new things to my channel here, including jobs and everything related to that. Also, I have tons of playlists here that you can review, make it more convenient for you. Anyway, happy defending, happy hacking, enjoy the video. Task 4, building SOAR playbooks. In the previous task, we studied how SOAR playbooks are predefined workflows that tell the SOAR tool what actions to take during a specific investigation. SOC analysts make playbooks for a general category of recurring alerts. Let's have a look at two different playbooks, one for phishing and one for CV patching. Phishing playbook. Phishing attacks remain the most common attack vector used in breaches. Unfortunately for security analysts, investigating phishing emails has become time-consuming and involves manual exercises such as analyzing attachments and URLs and verifying through threat intelligence platforms. While other investigations are ongoing, SOAR solutions can execute these tasks in the background via a playbook. Additionally, remediation can be performed when a positive phishing email is identified. Now, what would this playbook look like? Imagine you are a SOC analyst experienced in dealing with phishing alerts. You are training a junior analyst on how to respond to a phishing alert. For this, you make a flow diagram for them to take help from while investigating such alerts. What would you like to add to that flow diagram to assist your junior analyst? Starting from receiving the alert, suspicious email received, you will probably tell them the next steps they should take. They should create a ticket and check if the email contains a URL or an attachment. If it does not, just notify the users. But if it does, what would be the next steps? Next steps would further depend on whether it contains a URL or an attachment. So a lot of if this happens, do this, else do this instructions. This is how a playbook is made. The flow diagram below shows a playbook of phishing telling what to do at what step. So if we're going to take a look at this here, start suspected email received, contains URLs of attachments. No, notify users over Slack / channels, and if not, it says yes, contains attachments. You take this route here, compute hash to virus total. Is hash malicious? Then yes. Delete emails? No. Manual analysis of email sandbox is malicious. Delete emails. Going back here, it says suspected email received. Create an investigation ticket. Okay, right. So you're going to do that anyway. And then after everything, at the end, you're going to update the ticket with IOCs. So let's go back over here to this other side where it says yes, contains URLs, send URL to virus total. Is URL malicious? Yes. Delete emails? No. Manual analysis of email in a sandbox, and then yada yada yada. We get the gist of it. CV patching playbook. Common vulnerabilities and exposures is a vulnerability that is disclosed publicly and assigned a CV number. As part of vulnerability management, the SOC team has to address newly released CVs by verifying whether they exist in their network and patching them if they do. An analyst must always be on the lookout for publications on new CVs and remediation plans. That's right, you should be watching the news for those. The process can become overwhelming, resulting in a mounting backlog and patches not being applied, leaving the environment more vulnerable. Moreover, this process can take a lot of time and resources of the SOC team since CVs are released frequently. So to solve this problem, we can make a playbook for handling the CVs inside the SOAR tool, just like we did for the phishing case. Now, this is typically handed off to the actual vulnerability and management team to take care of this issue here, but we're just going to follow along with this. This playbook will analyze the CV details, assess its risk threshold, create a patching ticket, and then test the patch before being pushed to production environment. This following is an example of a playbook made for CV patching. Please please click to enlarge the image. Yes, okay. So start, and it says monitor adversary list, extract new CVs data, SOAR queries patch, management to see if CV has been addressed. CV already addressed, yes. Go to end, no. Continue on. SOAR queries patch management to see if CV applies. Is CV applicable? No. SOAR updates patch management that CV is not applicable, and then end. If yes, continue on. SOAR creates CV ticket, assigns analyst, SOC analyst reviews ticket. SOAR identifies assets needing patch. SOAR queries configuration management for patch. Does patch exist? Yes. Continue on here to SOAR creates test machines for patch. No. Update patch database, and then you're going to go here anyway. So continue on. SOAR applies patch to test machines. logging for test metrics and performance. SOAR updates SOC ticket with results. SOC deploys patches to assets. SOC verifies patch rollout. SOAR scans patch assets via vulnerability scan. Assets vulnerable, no. SOC closes CV ticket. SOC updates patch management. That CV is addressed. If yes, for assets vulnerable, SOC develops a mitigation plan. Then SOC deploys mitigation and then continue on from there. As you see in both playbooks flow diagrams, most of the steps are automated. SOC analysts can be seen at a few points. This highlights that while SOAR reduces repetitive manual processes burden, SOC analyst role remain essential for crucial decisions and verifications, which I briefly stated earlier, I believe. So let's take a look at these questions here. Is manual analysis vital within a SOAR workflow? Yes, as we just saw there. They need to validate some things, especially critical processes and critical decisions. From where is the CV patching playbook fetching the new CVEs? And that's coming from the patch management. That's what it says there. I think I'll have to go back and look here. In the CV patching playbook, if the assets are found vulnerable even after the patch is deployed, what does the SOC develop next? Okay, so let's go here and take a look at these, see if we can find the rest of these. All right, so the first one, let's talk about where it gets the information in regards to the CV. Well, it's going to be this step here, monitor advisory list. So advisory lists is where that's coming from. The second one was if the asset's still vulnerable, right? Well, you're going to have to develop a mitigation plan as specified down there. So that's going to be our two answers here. All right, advisory list and mitigation plan. Task number 5, threat intel workflow practical. All right, scenario. You are part of a SOC team that recently faced a large breach investigation that took ages due to a lack of automation. Your friend McSkitty recently advised adopting a SOAR and setting up automation workflows, also called playbooks, to help your security investigations. McSkitty sent you a checklist for a threat intelligence integration workflow, and your task is to figure out how it works. Click the View Sites button below to launch the site and split view. To automate the process, use the different screens to activate the elements required for the SOAR workflow. Run and test the workflow until you get a smooth transition on the flow chart to complete the task. So let's take a look at this view site real quick. Instructions. The objective is to simulate the actions of automating a SOC environment through toggle various settings. You will have to enable or disable in order to get the right combination of events to activate the flow chart. Let's proceed here. Adjust the settings for automated and manual flows to adopt a SOAR and set up automation workflows that will help you in your security investigations. Okay. So we have a case ticket. Use the settings to integrate case management workflow. Threat intel. Use these settings to integrate threat intel workflow. Data extraction. Use the settings to extract threats. Reputation checks. Use settings to perform reputation checks. And then we have course of action. Use the settings to set the course of action. All right. So nice. So we have various different options here to take a look at. All right. So pause the video. Go ahead and try to go through this process yourself, and then come back to the video, and we will step through it together. All right. Let's take a look here at this. Apparently you're supposed to flip these on and off. Yeah, so it goes from manual to automated, and let's see which ones we can automate inside of here. So let me go back down here real quick and create case ticket. Use services such as the Hive, which is, I believe that's open source and free. ServiceNow, which is well known out there, and we can automate that as we just read about. Oops, yeah, we're gonna need to click the switch on it. Next one, assign case ticket. We can do that. Automated, we know that. You can set like a round robin type of thing to automate that process there to a analyst or to somebody in the case management assignment. Communicate case ticket. Integrate channels such as email, Slack. Yes, you can automate that. Update case ticket. Push APIs for updates. Yes. Delete case ticket. APIs used for deletion. I guess you can automate that, but I don't think you would want to do that. So I'm going to click OK for that one. Threat intelligence feeds here. So let's see. Fetch new incident alerts. Use threat intel sources for new data. Right. So that's part of the like enrichment. Set fetch intervals, pull APIs. Used to fetch times. Yes. Failed fetch notifications. Notify when fetch fails. Yeah, you definitely want to get that so you can fix the issue if it doesn't work. Discard old alerts, calls for deleting alerts. Okay, once again, deleting stuff. You probably want that to be manual process there. Data extraction. Let's see here. Extract domains, retrieve domain data for known threat lookups on virus total. So it goes back to like enrichment. So you want to automate that. Same thing. Extract IPs, extract URLs as well. Analyst extraction, analyst data extraction for unknown/new threat lookups. Probably manual process if it's unknown or new, right? So we're gonna leave that the same. Reputation, let's see here. Reputation results, output, compiled results from virus total. Sandbox testing, integrate using platforms such as AnyRun, hybrid analysis, and then analyst validation. Analysis of results and confirmation of case. Well, we know that's going to be the manual process, just based off of that little flowchart we saw earlier, right? Or the workflow, right? So let's see here. So I'm going to say make this automated, compiled results from virus total, okay? And probably want to leave these as manual actions from the analyst to take a look at here. All right, so let's just leave that the same. Okay, course of action, and let's take a look at this once again. Right off the bat, analyst approve COA, confirmation of actions and remediation. Well, that's probably going to be a manual process, so we'll leave that alone. Block domains, firewall, networks, blacklist, rules, and instead we can automate that. Same thing with block URLs. Same thing, block IPs, update case tickets. Yes, we can do that as well. Now, obviously, all this is going to depend on your standard operating procedures at whichever organization you work for, but we're just going to go off this room here and what they told us. I think that's it. Okay, run, completed. Let's see what it does. Awesome, sweet. So we're done with that. Obviously, this probably took some trial and error depending on your experience and whatnot, but we're going to plug this in here and wrap it up. Task number 6, conclusion. That's all for this room. In this room, we looked at the traditional SOC processes and their challenges. Then we saw how SOAR can overcome these challenges through its orchestration, automation, and response. Finally, we examined some real playbooks used in a SOC and developed a threat intelligence workflow for automation. Power to security, orchestration, and automation. This saves a lot of headaches and a lot of time, as we just read about, and actually did a practical application inside that task number 5 there, right? Your organization can look into getting a SOAR if you don't already have a SOAR implemented. And if you do have a SOAR implemented, I would recommend learning about how to use it, how it operates, talk to the SOAR engineer who's managing it and get a better understanding how that works. Because if you do that, it can help you as a SOC analyst. So you can come with new playbooks and maybe new integrations with the SOAR actions and whatnot. Okay, you can just improve your overall processes and procedures. All right, so we're going to hit check here and wrap up this video. Also, if you want to help support the channel, you know what to do. Like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know every time I upload to the channel. Thank you all for taking the time to watch my video. Happy hacking, happy defending. Have a nice day. I'll see you later, and stay safe in the cyber trenches.